Shalom, fam. Shalom. I want y'all to check this out so y'all can see how we get to this point. What I was talking about with Pop Smoke. You know, why did Pop Smoke get popped and smoked? And you know, this is a part of protocol. Anytime you're going somewhere and you're part of something else, or you're a part of these streets, you know what you should be doing. And you know how to move. And you always move with those around you that's familiar with the places you're going to. You can't always assume that you're rough and tough and you can go anywhere you want to when you're in these streets, amongst these tribes. And I keep saying this. This is not Native American stuff, y'all. This is American Indian stuff. This is not African stuff. It's American Indian stuff. These are tribal wars, turf wars. And when you're going into other Indian country, you need to know how to move around. And you need to be around some type of chief that knows how to move you around and show you around. Especially if you're claiming these tribes and stuff. These street corners. You can't move how you think you want to, or how you think you should, or whatever's the case. So I want to show you guys something. I want to read you something. Because a lot of people seem like they be lost with this stuff and they ain't understanding how it really goes down. And how, if it was any other people, they'd be, oh, that's Native American stuff. If it was the Native Americans, they say, oh, that's just tribal stuff they're doing. Well, because we don't know who we are. They just say, oh, they're ignorant, they're stupid. They're just killing each other for street corners and lakes and parks and stuff like this. So I'm going to read something out of the American Anthropologist. It's a book. And it says, of the motives of warfare as viewed by anthropologists, those which seem to the most common to him cause among the so-called primitive tribes, less civilized people of the world, so-called, social advancement, excitement, religious obligation, capture of women, slavery, plunder, appropriation of territory, trade, defense, and fear. It has been found through examination of historical narratives available at the northeastern Algonquin waged minor wars for all of the above reasons, but it was not until pressure from agriculture groups to the south and southwest made itself felt in this area that we note wars taking on a new meaning which seemed to evolve into a life and death struggle between various tribes and bands. With the coming of Europeans, this struggle was intensified until it was too late for the Indians to unite us. Us Indians, we're still going through this, and it's not too late, and become effective fighting force against a common enemy, the pilgrim. So y'all see what they're saying, right? And then we go into the Higuendo, which Baxter places as the present gasp. It would seem probable that Fenton is right. Hunt in the wars of the Iroquois, the retreat from this general region, but does not attempt to explain it other than to say that there was agricultural peoples came into contact with a purely hunting nomadic way of life. He points out that the Iroquois probably had a southern origin and pushed northward until they reached both banks of the St. Lawrence, and by 1603 had recoiled before the growing Algonquian resistance. Whatever the cause of the general withdrawal of the Huron from the St. Lawrence may have been the hostilities of Algonquin or lack of trade, it is interesting to note that the Indians encountered on the St. Lawrence waterway were agricultural people later displayed by the hunting people who were in possession of St. Lawrence at the time of the Champlain. From the time of Cartier or Champlain, the great sea power countries of the of Europe sent explorers to the new so-called New World. Many accounts of these voyages are available, but for the most part, they do not give a clear picture of the native inhabitants, the territory they inhabit, the tribes whom they were allied or whom they considered their enemies. With the coming of Champlain, we are given detailed accounts of these voyages of the people who lived in the areas he explored while buildings were being erected on St. Croix Island in the St. Croix River. Champlain sailed along the coast of Maine and entered the Penobscot River, where he met Indians and held meeting with the chiefs Besabez and Cabez, in which he told them he had to come and trade to make friends with them and hoped they would become friends of his friends, the Iroquois and Canadians, whom they considered their enemies. Champlain and his party were received. The chief said they wished his friendship and would also like to live in peace with their enemies. So this is tribal warfare that's been going on. From day one, they're having all these tribal warfares. And it says, St. Lawrence region during the time of Cartier's voyage, one may see by Fenton's map, his figure 10, that a great deal of this territory was thought to be controlled by the Laurentians, but to say that they were controlled by both sides of the St. Lawrence as far east as Natahquan River of the north of the St. Lawrence Bay to the eastern tip of the Anticosti Island, and all the shoreline of the south of the bay by the gas seems to be going beyond the meager evidence so far brought to light. It is probable, and the records of the Cartier's voyage bear this out, that the Laurentians, Iroquois moved over this region seasonally for a number of years to fish along the coast and to trade with the natives on both sides of the St. Lawrence. It does not seem that sufficient data have been uncovered to say that the entire region was under the complete control of the Laurentians. It would appear that these Iroquoian-speaking people Cartier met here with the Huron, who had migrated into this general region sometime earlier, displaying the Algonquian and using the bay and coastal regions only for summer camp sites. If they had a real desire to retain control of this region, it does not seem that the sparse population of Algonquian would have been able to oust them before the time of Champlain's appearance in 1603. So as you can see, they were already they moved around in certain lands and they had to, have permission and stuff. And it can cause wars. So you have to understand, these are these wars, these Indian wars. Because it says, it was seen at the time of Cartier's contact with these Indians that they were traveling up and down to St. Lawrence, camping on both sides of the bay, getting a livelihood from sea during the summer months and returning up the river for the winter encampment. So as you can see, you have certain territories that's yours or considered your tribes, and then you have others that's considered other tribes, or it can be a mutual area. But you got to know how to move around these areas. And it's the same thing as far as with these gangs and stuff that we read about. Wars, these turf wars, and people's basically like, stay out of my area unless you know somebody in this area. You can move around in this area. But I want to show you guys something, which these people play on us. This is how they propagate stuff, and, be these they start these wars amongst ourselves with the media and things like that, and get us all riled up, and it can spin out of control, because you know how we get. So I'm going to let y'all peep this out and see this brother on here from New York. What you see right here says he's a blood named Corey King. and he's calling out all kind of people, right? He's emotional right now due to, you know, a person he knew or had some type of acquaintance with or something, Pop Smoke, that was from New York also. He's mad about it. But listen what he's saying when he's telling the Indians, when y'all come here, y'all going to have to check in too now. And this is all about respect. It's not checking in, it's tapping in with the locals, with the natives. Like Blueface said, he didn't say nothing out of pocket. He didn't say the brother deserved any of that. He said when you coming around, you got to check in. You got to know your boundaries. So you got to tap in with some of the real ones out here so they can make sure you're okay. And you can move around, do what you want to do, flash your jewelry and all that. But you got to tap in with the real ones. So peep what he's saying though.
You're the real nigga. Tired of you niggas out here. I swear to God, I don't care about prison. I don't care about life. None of that. But I'm
tired of
gonna
the
start killing
Indians.
you niggas, man.
Start killing the
I'm
Indians.
gonna start running you haters. The fuck y'all at? Pull out, my nigga. It's game time now. It's violated. Strip it down. Blueface, you a bitch. Suck my dick, Blueface. If I see you, my nigga, you a prick.
You see what he's saying to his own people? But we some called the slaves. We Africans. And y'all believe this story. If you ask the brother, I don't know if not for sure, but he probably believe he's an African, right? But he want to dress the pilgrims this way. But he'll dress the other Indians, so-called African Americans, in this way. You see how backwards we is, and you see how they play us? And now we play ourselves.
Right, my nigga. You better come online with the other apology, nigga. And you and your whole mammy team, everybody fool, my nigga. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. On blood. On gang, nigga. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Snoop Dogg, you pull up, you better fucking check in the game. I got a picture with you all that. Fuck you. Pull up, nigga. Check in. Baby, if you bring a nigga over here, nigga, they better pull up, nigga. Lil Wayne, Drake, any of y'all. Niggas pull up, check in, nigga. Give a fuck, nigga. Ask Jay Prince about me, nigga. Corey King, a.k.a. New York Spoons, nigga. Pull up, nigga. Check in, nigga. Check in. You killed one of mine, nigga. Niggas check in, nigga. You don't check in, nigga. You a plate. You fool, nigga.
Tribal
Who
warfare.
like nigga suck my dick? You fool, nigga.
Excuse his language.
Hey, what's up? It's your...
Tribal warfare, y'all. Tribal warfare. And on that note, Shalawam, pay attention. Let it be peace and prosperity amongst the people. Unity in the community. Hey, hey. Shalom, shalom, fam. I want to tackle a situation that took place in LA. We're going to talk about this. And it should make sense to those who already know and know who he is. It's already going to make sense. To a lot of y'all that still sleepwalking and, in denial, ignorant like most of our people, stubborn, and you don't seem to understand, we are the Indians of the Americas. And these right here is some of the things that happen. It's tragic that this young man right here, what they call Pop Smoke, I didn't know nothing about him. It came on my breaking news a few days ago. Seen the brother Wanagi had posted something about him too. But one thing y'all got to get clear is, this is Indian acts that we're doing. This is Indian stuff. And I don't understand how you guys could have any people out there have a shadow of doubt of who we are when you look and see this kind of stuff. And it's tragic that the young man had to lose his life. But when you're going into other Indian territory, because he's supposed to be said from Brooklyn, and his parents is from the islands, right? And he's on the mainland. But anytime you're moving anywhere, it ain't about checking in, like this word they use nowadays. Checking in, we was locked up. That means you was checking in. You was going to PC, protective custody. But you see how our words got different meanings to them because we advanced people. Like nowadays they say dabbing, that kind of dance that they do with their head down between their arms. But back then, when I was younger, we called dabbing. That was dabbing in the dope game. Dabbing a cat, giving them some fake dope. That's what they call it, that dabbing, that abba-dabba. And a lot of kids was getting killed back in the days for selling fake dope to some of these adult gang members and stuff like that was on that would come back and kill them for selling them fake dabbing them up. But what I'm speaking on is, anytime you in areas that you don't know about, you always supposed to, what they call check in, or you tap in with the people. It's like if I'm going anywhere else, if I'm going to New York, me and the homies or anything, we're going to have a setup out there. We're going to have a person that's from there, from the area that is a mutual partner, or he might be something that one of the homies done put on, went out there from the West, because he got family in New York. So he met some cats from New York, put them on to what we was doing in the gang and all that stuff. And I'm not promoting gangs and stuff like that, but this is what we going through and what we're going by and what we're doing. And these is who's patrolling these areas, these Indians, these tribes that's repping these streets. So anytime you out of town or you going to somebody else's town, you better be tapping in with the Indians of them areas. The same thing they was doing back in the yesteryears. When you read about the Westo wars, all them Indian wars and stuff, they had to tap in. When they're going through and traveling through another territory of another tribe, what was they doing? Exchanging things, giving things. Okay, here's some money, or here's this, here's that, here's something. Do you need this? We need this. We'll give you this. Go ahead and pass through. So you can't think you Billy Bad Butt and want to be in somebody else's area and you ain't tapping in with them. And you getting money in their areas. You have to go by protocol. Cats claiming to be in the streets, you got to know protocol then. And you got to know when you're going out to anywhere. You go to Philly, Brooklyn, from Compton to any hoods in Seattle, Portland, LA, Frisco, Oakland. These are all different Indians and different tribes. And they streets is they tribes. We the only ones that can't put two and two together and see that. that we in tune with everything around us. And we rep everything around us. And it's a part of us. So like I said, it's sad that the brother had to lose his life. But you got to tap in, bruh. You should know that street protocol. Unless cats want to think they better than whatever, then you're going to bring that energy. It's going to come to your doorstep. And that's what happened, unfortunately, to this young brother. When you're moving out there, you want to tap in. And we're going to read something from Blueface because he got a little controversy about what he has said. But he was really being true. And he was saying, people think Cali, LA is beautiful, sunny, palm trees, he wrote. And he said, brothers die here every single day. I recommend any artist coming this way to get in touch with the right, and he uses the word natives, with the right natives. Not talking about Native Americans, American Indians. He's talking about us. He said, this way you get in touch with the right natives just to keep you up to speed. Soon as you relax and think it's cool, this way, that's when they strike. So he's telling you, you coming out there and you ain't tapped in with any of them Indians out there, and you think that's how you lounging, that's how I get down, I'm gangster and this and that. When you relax is when they gonna strike. So you got to know when you in other playgrounds, man. You got to learn how to play in other people's playgrounds, and you got to know how to tap in. Same way with any of us. It don't matter if you the top chief, gang leader of wherever you from. When you go anywhere, you pay homage to the people in that area. You connect with somebody, and you get to learning how to move and roll around in them areas. You don't know what hood is what. You're going to go to Fox Hills Mall and think it's cool and don't even know that's somebody's hood. And they patrolling up in there. And they catch you up in there and they rob you outside of there and kill you. All these malls and things like that, man, you got to know where you at. That's why you tap in with the natives, the Indians. So you know how to move. Okay, who is this? Okay, who is this? Who is that? That's how you do that. That's what happened with Pac. Pac inherited, came, wasn't from LA, only was out there a short time and got taken that fast. Not knowing how to move, being around some people that he thought was cool, and he inherited some beefs and problems that he had no idea about. Didn't know the cat he was stomping out, didn't know nothing about these cats. Knew nothing about Compton, nothing. That's why you tap in. Because if you have problems with a cat and you already know somebody from there, you're like, hey, who is this? Such and such. Oh, that's such and such. What's good with him? Oh, man, he tried to come at me some kind of way, man. This and that. And telling me I didn't know who he is. You know, what's the deal with him? Oh, yeah. He cool, let me go and talk to him, man. Get this straightened out. That's how you handle that. When you tap in. When you don't, this is what happens. This is the tragedy. And these is them urban American Indians. The uncivilized ones. I got their own laws and political structures set up. And then Blueface goes on to say, young, immature, dumb brother might take what I said, the word checking in, as if you do tapping in with a brother who shows any signs of power or misconception, because you hit him when you land. Then that is the wrong native, he said. So I don't know how he's spelling it. It's kind of crazy, weird. I don't know what these youngsters these days, but, he's talking about the checking in or tapping in with cats who are in power. That's why when Biggie and P. Diddy and them was out there, they had cats they was tapping in with. They just happened to be tapping in with, some of the Crip cats. And Pac was so-called affiliated with the Bloods, you know, with the rules. And not understanding the rules. But I want you guys to see this and what he's saying, natives. He keeps saying that word. You can go and check out Bluefaces, what he said about the whole young brother right here, Pop Smoke. You know, a young brother who got himself popped and smoked for not following protocol. And I keep telling you guys this. This is why it's crazy. Like, we are the Indians. Only Indians do this stuff on their own land. You got to tap in when you're moving through other tribes' territories. Only us. But if the so-called Native Americans was doing this, y'all be saying, oh, that's just tribal stuff. They're just doing tribal stuff. When we do it, and we don't know who he is, it's just they lost. These people is lost. Nah, these people is Indians, and they doing what Indians do on their land. Not that it's right, but they just doing Indian stuff. So with that being said, we're going to send some good energy through the healing of our people. Because, this ain't the time. I mean, it's always good to tap in, but as far as the killing each other and all that, them things, we gotta some time for some healing. We need time of healing and rebuilding. And getting ourselves right. And that time's coming. We waking up, being forced, whether we know it or not. We being forced just with everything around us. You guys seeing this, that is showing us who we are. We are the people of the Americas, the originals, aboriginals, the Tontonist ones, the American Indians. We are the ones of this land. And we gravitate and pull through everything on this land. That's how we are. People that look and see and utilize everything around us. And when you talk about these Indians, and these wars and the Indians in the hood, we all got these names that correlate to everything that's around us. You might have a homie named Moet, Pitbull, Bear, Wolf. All these names, and y'all be like, who are these? Why they be doing? What is they got? Man, because they know who they are without knowing who they are. They just misguided. So for these cats that be claiming that we so-called Africans and all this stuff, that's not what your actions is showing. These Africans ain't coming over here getting down like this. And we ain't going to go into that fake ships without motors traveling over here. Bringing over 12.6 million. When that's done. That's been debunked. Nobody's talking about that. I don't even understand why anybody at this day and age would even be fixing their mouth to even talk about that. It's fake. And people getting off boats fighting the Indians with muskets, one-shot barrels, and winning. No, when we can get off 50 and 60 arrows. We're not going for that no more. So it's time to wake up. And may peace and prosperity be amongst us all. May we start healing and building. And as we see, we're waking up. And there's a lot of peace treaties been going on in LA. All over in the West Coast with gangs and stuff. I see they trying to push a lot of it in Chicago too. So we're waking up. It's time for healing now and building. But like I said, when you're coming from out of town, you always want to tap in with the ones who's known, who can teach you, show you how to move around. You always want to have a relative or relative's partner. You bring him You meet with your the relative's partner, and you find out, okay, this is my partner's relative. Hey, how it go down around here? And you're gonna have people that's gonna show you around. That's somebody. Don't be around no nobodies that'll get you killed or set you up. You be around somebodies. The ones who hold weight, that have a status. What I mean by hold weight is they got names. Their names ring bells in the streets. The respectable ones, the reputable ones. Same thing like I did when I came to Houston. We moved here. It wasn't like I was visiting, but I still tapped in with the natives, the American Indians here. Find out who was who, how to move around, and got cool with them just so I can know. If something go wrong, I got some people I can go to. Hey, man, this happened right here. You know, y'all heard anything on the streets of what was going on or what was this about? And they going to put you up on game. Oh, yeah, that was such and such that did that. Oh, that was you? Okay. Now I know. Okay, I'm going to talk to them. We're going to get that back, man. Just like that. So know who you are. And know how to move. When you know who you are, right? Like they say, wise up, tribe up, rise up. So when you know that you on this land and you know who you are, then you know how to move. You know how tribes move. And you know you got to tap in when you're in another tribe's area. So on that note, I'm going to say shalom to y'all. Peace. And may we wake up. Let us build and heal and restore and get our land and our rights back. Hey, hey.